Hi, I'm Flint. I'm a rock. People assume that makes me old, and sure, I've been sitting here a few billion years, but here's a secret that humbles even me. The oldest thing in this video isn't me. It's something on your kitchen table right now. You probably touched it this morning, and once you know what it is, you'll never look at a glass of water the same way again. Let's start with something simple. Everything around you has an age. Most of the time, you never think about it, but every single object you own has been counting up since the moment it formed. So let's actually look. The phone in your hand, a few months old, maybe a year. The shirt you're wearing, months. The chair you're sitting in, a few years, maybe a few decades if it's nice. The house around you, decades. The wooden table I mentioned, if it came from a real tree, might trace back a century or two to when that tree was a sapling. Already we've gone from months to centuries without leaving the room. Now, look down at the floor. If any of it is stone, granite, marble, slate, you just skipped past everything else by a margin that's hard to even picture. That granite countertop people chop vegetables on, it's often somewhere between 100 million and a billion years old. People wipe it down with a paper towel and never once consider that they're cleaning something older than the dinosaurs, older than anything that has ever had a face. And this is about where I start to feel at home, because now we're talking about rocks. So let me show you how deep this actually goes. Take a diamond. A diamond on someone's finger didn't form in a jewelry store or a mine. It formed somewhere between 100 and 200 miles underground, under pressure you cannot imagine. And most diamonds are between 1 and 3.5 billion years old. That sparkle on a ring is a chunk of the deep earth that's older than fish, older than plants, older than bones. Someone's wearing a piece of the planet's ancient interior to dinner. But let's keep climbing, because I haven't even shown you the oldest piece of Earth itself. In the Jack Hills of Western Australia, geologists found tiny crystals of a mineral called zircon. The oldest of them clock in at about 4.4 billion years old. That's the oldest known piece of Earth. The planet is only around 4.5 billion years old, which means that crystal formed when the Earth was practically a newborn, its surface barely cooled. Hold one of those, and you're holding the planet's first draft. So that's it, right? 4.5 billion years, the age of the Earth. That has to be the ceiling. The oldest thing you could ever touch is a piece of the world itself, except no, because some of the things in your house are older than the Earth. Look at gold, a wedding ring, an earring, the gold in the little chip inside your phone. Here's the thing about gold. The Earth can't make it, and neither can the sun. Gold can only be forged in some of the most violent events in the universe. The collision of two dead stars, neutron stars slamming together with the force of a galaxy. Every single atom of gold that exists was born in a catastrophe like that, scattered across space, and then swept up into the cloud that eventually became our solar system, which means the gold in that ring is older than the Earth it's sitting on, older than the sun. People hand it down for a few generations and call it an heirloom, never knowing it's been around for billions of years longer than the planet. And this isn't guesswork. In 2017, telescopes around the world actually caught two neutron stars colliding, 130 million light years away. And in the wreckage, astronomers watched fresh gold and platinum being forged in real time. The exact process that made the ring on someone's finger caught on camera. So when I tell you your jewelry is older than the sun, understand that we have a front row recording of where it came from. And if you've ever held a meteorite, a real one, the kind of museum gift shops, you've touched something even more honest about its age. The oldest bits of meteorites are about 4.5 billion years old, older than the Earth, leftover scraps from the very birth of the solar system that never got folded into a planet, little time capsules from the deep depths of the universe. So now we've blown past the age of the Earth. We're older than the sun, and I promised you the oldest thing was on your kitchen table, so let's go get it. Pour a glass of water. For a long time, people assumed Earth's water formed here, along with the planet. But when scientists studied the chemistry of our oceans, the exact mix of hydrogen inside the water, the numbers didn't add up. The water was too heavy, carrying a signature that could only have formed out in the freezing dark of interstellar space, long before the sun ever switched on. Their best estimates suggest as much as half of all the water on Earth is older than the sun itself. It started as ice drifting between the stars, survived the birth of an entire solar system, and ended up in your cup. Your morning coffee is older than the sun. Let that sit for a second, but I told you we could go further, so let's go all the way. Because everything I've shown you so far, the granite, the gold, the water, is made of something smaller, atoms. And atoms have their own birthdays. Look at that glass of water again. Water is hydrogen and oxygen. And hydrogen, the simplest atom there is, wasn't made in a star or a collision or a planet. Hydrogen was made at the very beginning. In the first few minutes after the Big Bang, before there were any stars at all, the universe cooked up a vast supply of hydrogen, and it has been around ever since. 13.8 billion years. Nothing in existence is older, because before that there was no old. That hydrogen is in your water, it's in the air, and it's in you. Roughly a tenth of your body, by weight, is hydrogen. The same hydrogen forged in the first moments of the universe. It's in your blood, it's in your cells. It has been part of stars and oceans and other living things, recycled for nearly 14 billion years, and right now it's wearing a temporary costume, and that costume is you. And it isn't only the hydrogen. Look at the rest of you. The carbon in your skin, the oxygen filling your lungs, the iron in your blood, none of that was made on Earth either. Every one of those heavier atoms was cooked inside a star that lived and died long before the sun was ever born, then tore itself apart and flung the pieces across space. You are built, quite literally, from the ash of dead stars. The hydrogen is nearly as old as time. The rest of you isn't far behind. So here's the answer to the question. The oldest thing you will ever touch isn't a fossil. It isn't a meteorite behind glass. It isn't even me, and I've been here longer than most. The oldest thing you will ever touch is yourself. You are partly as old as the universe. You've been carrying around atoms older than the sun, older than the earth, older than every rock I've ever met your whole life. And you've never paid them a second of attention. They were here before the first star. They'll be here long after you and me are gone, off to be part of something else. I'm a rock. A few billion years is a long sit, and I've watched a lot happen. But every time someone picks me up and says, "Wow, you must be ancient," I have to laugh a little, because the hand holding me is older than I am. You don't have to go looking for the oldest thing in the world. You already are it. I'm a rock.